You can classify the pharma industry into two large parts. One is to look at branded name drugs, and the second one is to look at the generics. The branded name drugs are the ones which companies have spent a lot of time and effort developing those drugs, and they have exclusive rights on that drugs for a particular period of time in reward for their research and development efforts. Generics are those which are off patent. As the patents expire on those drugs, these drugs are available in the market for anyone to produce. Any company could produce those generic drugs, and these are not branded. They are sold on the molecule name rather than the brand of the drug. There are two major things that are about India that is interesting in the pharma industry. One is India is a tropical country. As a tropical country, India is home to lots of bacteria and viruses, and therefore lots of infections. As a tropical country, common cold, infections and all of that is significantly high in the Indian market, and that's a huge opportunity for firms to sell drugs which are on common cold, fever, flu and all of that. It's a hot country, it's a humid country with poor quality potable water, a lot of Western habits that have come in without all those Western ethics of exercising or physical activity. There's huge amounts of obesity, there's huge amounts of cholesterol, huge incidence of diabetes in the country, where lifestyle changes are partially adopted from the Western countries. So to that extent, India presents a great opportunity. Or the evolution of the Indian pharma market can be traced into three phases. The initial phase was when the government was significantly present in the Indian industry. Prices were controlled. The first phase was characterized by a lot of companies which were making drugs for specific therapeutic segments. They were focused on one particular thing. You had a company which would do only infection drugs. You would have a company which would do only dermatological. You would have a company which will do only cardiovascular. That kind of specific drugs. The second part is about from the liberalization of the Indian economy, where capital availability and all of that increased, to the expiry of process patents. Between the time the Indian industry got liberalized in the mid-80s till about 2005, the Indian pharma industry exploded because the Indian pharma industry did not have product patents, but it was covered with process patents. With process patents, it was easy for Indian pharmaceutical companies to imitate Western patented drugs. They would typically buy a drug from the Western market, reverse engineer it. It's an end of the day a chemical, so chemical synthesis was important. They would assay the drug. The Dr. Reddy's of the world, the Ciplas of the world, the Ranbaxys of this country have all been masters in reverse engineering, and that's where they built their capabilities. 2005 is when the third phase, when the process patents were phased out and you had to have product patents. As Indian market moved away from process patents to product patents, these companies have had to invest in acquiring newer capabilities. Capabilities like wanting to do research, wanting to market. When there were process patents, the efficacy of the drug was the only thing that you needed to do. You had to just go and tell the physician that this drug is effective. That's about it. It would sell. In the product patents, I need to do branding. I need to be able to compete with other multinational companies. Post 2005, when we are looking at patenting, then you need to do basic research. You had to shift from process chemistry to analytical chemistry. You had to shift from reverse engineering to innovation. You had to shift from assaying, breaking down molecules to look at more chemical, phytochemical properties, go back to pharmacy, go back to pharmacology, and therefore be able to find new molecules for new therapeutic segments.